Making my own Damascus chef's knife. Today we're diving into the craft behind the Damascus chef's knife, where tradition meets performance in every cut.
Well, I'm going to show you how to make a Damascus steel chef's knife. So we're going to make the Damascus first, and then we're going to forge a blade out of it. We're going to harden it, we're going to temper it, grind it, put a handle on it, and at the end of the day, hopefully, we'll have a Damascus knife. But first off, something I noticed that you thought you were going to a blacksmith today. So what I'm going to wear, a white shirt.
A white shirt, yes.
Yeah, that's already, it's already good. And also the cameraman.
Not the best option today, maybe.
Apron for you. Maybe that helps a bit.
Yeah.
And so maybe something for you also.
But now I also look better. I look more like a blacksmith.
Right?
Alright, let's start.
Let's go. So we're going to make Damascus steel. And Damascus steel is what they call pattern welded steel also. And it means you're using different types of steels together. You forge weld them together, and when you etch it, you get pattern revealed. So I have two steels here. This one is normal steel, carbon steel, and this is 15N20, and this has some nickel in it. And that means when you etch it, it stays bright, and this one gets dark.
First, we have to weld the steel plates together so they don't fall apart in the oven.
Try the last one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Matthias even let me attempt the last weld spot.
Yeah.
Which turns out to be way harder than it looks.
Dat voor de wet en een beetje vast.
You want to clean up my mess?
Yes, please.
Yeah? Okay.
Which one do you prefer?
I think that was the more artistic approach.
So now we have the billet tack welded and we put it in the oven, and the oven is now around 1100 degrees centigrade. And halfway through I put some flux on it. This is borax, the powder, and what it does, it melts like a liquid glass type consistency, and it prevents oxygen from coming in between the layers. So when you forge weld it, it's a clean weld, because forge welding you make the steel melt, but you don't want it to burn. And if you get rid of the oxygen, then it doesn't burn, it melts. So now the billet is up to temperature, and I'm going to take it out into the press, and I'm going to do the first initial forge weld, and hopefully everything is welded together, and then I do it another time just to be sure.
Insane how bright the metal gets. I've never seen anything like that in real life. It's so cool.
And draw it out. Yeah? Right. So you see, in 2 times it's almost doubled in length. Ik doe dus er doorheen. Dan komt hij aan jouw kant uit. En dan pak jij hem. Dan geef je me mij. So the bar has cooled down. This is all Damascus, clean Damascus. As you can see here, you see the layers. And I always call it puff pastry in steel. So it's like puff pastry, it's layers upon layers upon layers, folded together. So what now I'm going to do first, I'm going to make here the handle. And then I'm going to cut it out like so. So this thing is gonna make a whole knife. So now it's 9 centimeters, 15 millimeters thick. So we'll see how large it will be. It's really thick, so I can make a big knife because I have all this material. Now I'm going to isolate the tang, as you call it. So this is where the handle will come. I'm letting it fall. So when I'm doing this, and then suddenly I don't need that anymore for a moment, it's really heavy to sketch it. You see, if I do this, It's really heavy. Yeah. But if I just continue the movement, I can go on. The shape for me now is like 90% finished. What I do now is I let it cool off. So, do you want to try it?
Yes.
Right. I put some small piece of Damascus in the forge. So let's see how you do with the hammer. One point, try to keep it flat. Because what you're doing is this, and it has to be flat. Yeah. Then you can see. And don't be afraid, so you can snuck up on it. Here.
First steps.
First steps. Very well, there are two things. You're keeping the handle here, that's very hard. So I will just here. And secondly, you are doing this. And what you need to do is this. See the difference? You're doing this. What you need to do is this.
On the same spot.
Yeah, the hammer on the same spot and move the object.
Ah!
And not the hammer on the thing. Yeah. So, how is it?
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard. But it's also, you have to move with your left hand to position the thing. You have to have the right movement with the hammer. But also what you mentioned, think how you want the knife
Where
to
you
expand.
want it to go, yeah.
Which is 3 different things to coordinate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty difficult.
Yeah. And I think this anvil is a bit low for you.
Yeah.
So that's also, it has to be here when you stand and you have a fist. Yeah. So it's like 8 centimeters too low. So it's a bit like this for you.
Yeah. Story of my life. Wow.
Check.
My own knife. I don't think it cuts well.
Not yet. We have forged it and it has some time to cool. So this is what we have. Now I'm going to grind. And I'm going to grind like the silhouette. So I think it's going to be like this. Tidy everything up. I don't know exactly at the moment, but something like that. Because I forged them so close to shape, it doesn't need a lot of refining. Last thing we need to do is make a handle and sharpen it. So Mick, I glued the handle on and the knife is finished. So this is the result.
This is beautiful.
Thank you.
This is like, it's like a piece of art. You can even feel the different layers still. This is by far the prettiest knife I've ever seen.
Wow, thank you. It's funny, the master who I was taught by, I always said in the forge, I said, oh, well, can we have a radio or music? And he says, no, you have to listen to the song of the hammer on the anvil.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you
for helping us
yes,
make
of course.
my first own Damascus chef's knife.
Yes.
If you want to have your own Damascus chef knives custom made, you do it here in Rotterdam. You craft it yourself.
Yeah, everything. I always say I don't make a knife, I make your knife. So everything is one off and I make it with the person in mind. So yeah, it's unique.